Let me just move on, because if you are a regular viewer to this programme, you will recall that a few days ago we were looking back at Biden, some of the kind of mistakes that he has been making, and asking whether or not he's safe actually to be the President of the United States. Let's have a little listen to what he has had to say.
I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Totally
How bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad I let you speak. That's
your memory has gotten worse, Mr. President?
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president.
What do you make to that, ladies and gents at home? Did he convince you or not? Paul Embry?
Well, I'm against any form of ageism. I think in any job, if you're good enough, you're young enough. But I have to say, this is quite painful, actually. What we're witnessing in real time is the decline, the very sharp decline, I think, of an 81-year-old president. It's a demanding job for even a young person. And I think it's pretty clear that he cannot realistically stand again. And the special counsel report that came out yesterday was absolutely devastating. It actually said openly that the president's recall was, his memory is strictly limited. He couldn't remember key facts about his personal life, about his political career. And I just think that his friends and allies should be saying to him, in his personal interests and in the US's interests, look, Joe, it's time to step aside and let someone else pick up the baton.
Yeah.
Madeleine?
Well, there's been an extraordinary, and I think quite a shameful, almost the word is like an omerta amongst many journalists in the US especially, that they would not talk about this. And it was one of these unsayable things for a very, very long time. And now it's become so obvious that it can no longer be ignored. And I think they have done the American people and the world, the president is the leader of the free world, a great disservice by not having that conversation. And also the sheer arrogance of the Democrat high command that last year, for example, they were trying to prevent there from being any kind of open debate amongst any other Joe Biden and any other challenges to that role on the basis that they thought it would be better from a PR perspective simply to kind of have a coronation for Biden because he might come off badly in any sort of public debate. It was very kind of command and control, and they've created this most almighty mess for them. And I think Paul is exactly right that it's now getting to a point where surely something has to be done about this, because otherwise it will just give the presidency to Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, and I said this when we discussed this a few days ago as well, there's something about this that makes me feel really uncomfortable because, he is an elderly man. Mm-hmm. And, I agree with you. I do think you're watching someone that kind of decline, and something about that, and then the commentary about that decline makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it is a conversation that needs to be had, given the role that he has. John says allowing Biden to continue, Michelle, is a form of abuse, and it's actually dangerous. He's likely to declare war without anybody knowing. I'm not sure it'd ever get to that stage, but I hear your point. John says, White House, he should be in a care home. It's frightening that he's in charge of the US. And you see, this is the point, John, because John ends his sentence there by basically saying he's a public laughingstock. And I don't like that.
I know.
That makes me uncomfortable.
And the thing is as well, it's not like he's a monarch where you can go on, and it doesn't really matter if your health declines because most of your powers are exercised by the government on your behalf.
Yeah.
He is the president and he's the commander-in-chief of the US Armed Forces, and he has got to have his finger on the pulse. He's got his finger on the button, but he's got to have his finger on the pulse as well. And it's just pretty clear, I think, that he's just not... I mean, even in the press conference where he was rebutting the allegation that his memory's failing, he confused the presidents of Egypt and Mexico. It was humiliating, really.
It's a good point, because actually in America they have extraordinary levels of executive power vested in the president, far more than many comparable world leaders, so it stakes it even higher in the States.
What do you make to it all?